Welcome to our first geography lesson for grade 9. In this lesson we are going to look at China based on what you've already learned in uh, the previous years. Here's a map of the country as a reminder, and let's get started with the industry. The industry up until 1978 was planned economy based, which later on from 1979 to an increasing extent became market economy. This was fueled by the creation of the special development zones, mostly along the coastline, to support investment and the establishment of joint ventures with Western companies. The Western companies were obviously interested in the cheap labor force and the massive Chinese market for their target, while the Chinese authorities wanted opportunities for job creation and modernization of the production technologies. This led to China becoming the world #1 coal and steel producer and #3 crude oil producing country. And the high point of this process was 1999 when China joined the World Trade Organization. This is just a telling picture of the industrious Chinese working. Another aspect, obviously, of the economy is the agriculture. A happy farmer in the fields plowing away. And obviously the Chinese agriculture went through a huge development process as well. Before 1949, like in many places around the world, farmers were obliged to work as landholders, paying rent to the landlords. It's called indenture farming. This changed radically after the revolution. In the first years of the revolution, every smallholder got their own small farms and they started production on these individual farms. This proved to be fairly inefficient. It led to starvation and an imbalance in production. So forced collectivization took place when farmers were forced to start working in communes. What was a commune? Communes consisted of work teams. Each work team consisted of 50 families, some 300 people, who made up brigades. 10 of them joining together created the brigades, and then the brigades got together, 5 of them, to create a commune. So around 1,500 people would be in a commune. This still didn't work very well, and with the opening of the up of the economy, the decision was made to give farmers back their own lands and they could abandon the collectives and started working independently again. They don't pay rent to anybody, they only have to submit a certain amount of their yields, and then they can take the surplus to the markets. This is why this farmer is so happy, probably. One of the interesting aspects of the Chinese economy, one of the many interesting aspects, is the population. We know that at the moment China is the most populous country with some 1.3 billion inhabitants. This is probably soon going to change, and India is going to take over the #1 position, but China's population is still rapidly growing. 1.4 billion people as projected to 2050. In China, the population increases actually by 17 million a year, which is the total population of Australia, just to put it a little bit into context. Most of the population is centralized around the big cities on the coast in search of better quality of life and more work opportunities. Um, One way of China coping with trying to cope with the financial economic consequences of having such a huge population was the introduction of the one-child policy, which is still around but much less prevalent than before. The idea was that families were uh, encouraged to have one child, preferably a boy child, and for any other children, any later children, families were quite severely discouraged from having more than one child per family. This is now changing quite considerably because people can actually afford to have more children, and families who have daughters as firstborn tend to go on trying one of the aspects of the Chinese industry is perhaps best exemplified by this massive construction, which some is obvious, the reservoir covers an area of 632 square kilometers, which was flooded by the waters of the Yangtze River, which is pretty much the territory of Singapore. Just, just to show some interesting tidbits, 27,200,000 cubic meters of concrete was used to build the dam. Again, a Burj Khalifa comparison would be 82.73 Burj Khalifas could have been built with that much concrete. It produces 22,500 megawatts of electricity, thus being the world's largest power station. Side effect was, of course, the forced relocation of more just looking at it from a different perspective. So it's built on the Yangtze River, as you can see. Some of the key landfalls and the amount of water and the electricity. As I mentioned before, towns. It had huge environmental impact, obviously, especially some of the special the most attractive was the also about 1,000 archaeological sites are submerged, so that the probably will never get to know what those So this is just an example to show I've already put a link to a few articles related to some other aspects of China, of the Chinese economy, and free to comment, ask questions, leave notes, and come up with a good idea. And what would you like to investigate? This is it from me. Sorry about the coffee. Just getting sick a little.